Thanks for clicking on my channel. Happy Sunday. Today is going to be extra chaotic. Today is going to be meal prep Sunday. So we got a few things on the list that we're going to be meal prepping today. Massaman Curry, fried rice, tofu scramble, all the makings for chipotle bowls, vegan hamburger helper. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so first up on the docket is going to be some Massaman Curry. So we're going to start with making the curry sauce in our Instapot. So we're going to start with a couple tablespoons of avocado oil. So that was about 5 heaping tablespoons of the Massaman curry paste.
So we're just going to saute the paste just a little bit.
So for this recipe, we're going to be using about, was it 4 cans of just regular coconut milk. We've never used this brand before. We got this at Patel Brothers today, which is an Indian grocer. And because we don't know how thick it is, we're also going to add 1 can of coconut cream. We'll see how that turns out. Okay, so we've transitioned the Instapot just over on top of the stove, only for lighting purposes. Just so we're not cooking on the Instapot, also on the stove. That'd be bonkers. So the curry paste with the avocado oil is starting to come to a simmer. All right, so now we're going to start adding the coconut milk. So now we'll just stir it up a little bit to try to break up the big chunks and wait for this to come to a boil. Next, the veggies to go into the curry with potatoes. So we're going to chop those up because they'll take the longest to cook. Next on the docket is 4 chunky carrots. Alright, so since the coconut cream were actually a bit thicker than we thought it was going to be, we'll thin it out this better than bouillon to make some vegetable broth. Now we'll roughly chop into pretty decent, like bite-sized pieces, 2 onions. And these are just white onions. So while the curry's cooking in the Instapot, we're going to get started on all the pieces that go into the chipotle bowls. So we are using the soy chorizo. This one is from Sprouts. I've also used the one from Trader Joe's. Both are delish. So we're going to brown that up here. We've been browning the soy chorizo. We'll move that off the burner. And now we're going to cook up some of the beans that we canned. This was our first attempt at canning beans. If you haven't already seen that video, I'll link it down in the description box. See how our first experience canning beans went. Okay, so here's where we're at. We've got the Massaman curry in one of our Instant Pots, just really setting on warm. We've added and cooked the potatoes in there, added the carrots and the onions, and that's just setting to the side. Then we've got in our other Instant Pot some cilantro lemon rice because I didn't have lime. That's cooking away in one Instant Pot. Next, we're going to start working on the chili mac. We're vegan, so if you can't tell, all our recipes are vegan. 2 of our favorite bloggers that we love and trust their recipes, both Sarah from Sarah's Vegan Kitchen and Chris and Jasmine from Sweet Simple Vegan. We'll link both of their recipes for their versions of a hamburger helper chili mac down below, but we kind of do a hybrid of the 2. Now let's get started on that.
So we're going to start by a little avocado oil. Okay, we added about 1 onion. We're going to just kind of wet this up, and then we'll add in the meat.
And the mushrooms.
And then the mushrooms.
The mushrooms and the meat?
Mushrooms and the meat. Mushrooms and the meat. Mushrooms and the meat. When we add the meat, we're going to do the Impossible Beef Light.
Light? Have we tried that?
We haven't tried it, but it was BOGO at Sprouts the other day.
Alright, here we got our mixture of 1 tablespoon of flour, 1 teaspoon of oregano, 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, and then we're going to sprinkle the mixture in the pan and stir to dissolve well. Then we're going to add our liquids. We're going to do 2 cups of vegan beef broth, 2 tablespoons of ketchup. We've got 1 tablespoon. We used Bragg's because we didn't have vegan Worcestershire. roughly 2 tablespoons of ketchup, and then we also didn't have Dijon mustard, so it's just regular yellow mustard. 1 tablespoon. 1 cup of unsweetened non-dairy milk of your choice, which we'll be using oat. So we're going to use the Bonza pasta we bought in the big boxes from Costco. So since those bags are kind of small, we're going to add 1 bag, which is a little less than like a usual box you would get at the store. And then we also had 1 partially open, so like 1.5-ish.
Alright, now we're going to make some fried rice. So I got the wok on medium heat with some avocado oil. First I'm going to saute a little bit of onions up. Alright, so now I'm going to add corn. It's cold! This is frozen corn. And it was already an open bag, so it's not a full bag. It's probably like a half a bag. Peas from Trader Joe's. Doesn't have to be precise. And then we got some Trader Joe's shelled edamame to put in. This will be about a half bag as well. Once again, to your liking. Alright, so now we are going to add in already cooked rice. It's the day-old rice that we're going to have in our fried rice. Alright, so we got the day-old rice. We're going to add in 1 tablespoon of vegan butter, a splash of Bragg's seasoning, and we're going to add some soy sauce into the mix, and we will fry this up. Alright, so the rice is just about done. So we'll go ahead and take this off, and then we'll prepare the tofu, or the fried rice, sorry. Alright, so now, same pan as what was for the fried rice, so we're just going to fry up some tofu. It's unseasoned. Alright, so we've allowed the curry to sit for a little while. The potatoes are done. The carrots are just a little al dente, which is good for curry. And the onions are just cooked. So we got to finish off the sauce by adding some brown sugar. And for this entire pot, start with 2 tablespoons. I'll just stir that brown sugar in. Some vegan fish sauce. Once again, this one's also to taste. So just add a little spritz. It will be missing something if you don't add some. Just a little bit. Well, that's it. Alright, so we're going to start with tofu scramble. And we're going to do 2 blocks of organic firm tofu. I just cut the top open and nothing else. Didn't really press it. I don't like pressing the tofu. Yeah, I drained it. I opened it and drained the main liquid. But I didn't press it. So let's go ahead and crumble it all up into bits and pieces. Let's go with 3 teaspoons of garlic. If you don't like garlic, reduce the amount of teaspoons. I do 2 teaspoons of onion powder. I also like to put dried onions in it. I kind of really don't press it. I'll do 3 teaspoons of dried onions. Those onions will soak up the water. Then we will do roughly a half teaspoon of turmeric. Turmeric's just really for color, nothing for flavor. It's what turns it a little yellow. We'll use a half a teaspoon of black pepper. And then about normally like 2 to 3 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. We'll stir it all together and we'll let it sit for about normally an hour to an hour and a half. Alright, so now we are just about time, so I'm going to go ahead and start heating up the skillet. the skillet's left over from fried tofu. We're going to start with the onions and bell peppers. And we'll get those sauteing up, and then we will work on the mushrooms. Alright, and then to help them sweat, I just use probably a teaspoon of salt. I don't know if you can see it, but this is fresh peppers, and this is how much water has leaked off of fresh peppers. So, just gotta cook that down too. Alright, so we're just about there. We're gonna add some mushrooms now. You can add as much as you want. Alright, so here is the tofu after it's sat for a little while. So we're just gonna go ahead and add all that in. Alright, so this is just about done. You know, it depends on how well you like your broccoli cooked. So then the last thing that I normally add, it's a black salt. We get it at the Patel Brothers. It's a very fine salt you can sprinkle on. It will resemble a egg because it's sulfury. So if you just take it and lick at your fingers, it's going to have a very strong sulfur taste to it. So use this sparingly. Normally I use this at the very end after I plated it.
Alright, here it is, all the finished food. We started with the Massaman Curry. That's still in the Instapot because we are taking this over to some family's house for birthday dinner tonight. We'll make rice when we get there. Then we have all the pieces needed to make our burrito bowl. So our cilantro rice, the beans, and then also some soy chorizo. Then we have the hamburger helper, chili mac, whatever you want to call it. We've got that made. Some fried rice with a side of tofu, which when we go to warm it up, we'll either season this or mix it in, or we'll see how we feel in the moment. We made some tofu scramble as well. And then separately, we did try another batch of bread, which we didn't show in this video, but we do have our first time baking bread in a separate video, which I'll also link below. So thank you all for joining us on this meal prep Sunday. It was a little chaotic. That's almost how it always is when we're in the kitchen. But hope you liked this video. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends, and come back next week for another episode to see what we do in the kitchen. Thanks. Bye.
Well, go ahead and cut that one out, Tracy.